Quick update, just to give you an idea of where we are. Right now, in front of you, you're probably looking at the chart, hopefully. And I've put a parallel channel here. You can just see that we are currently experiencing, this is each candle here is 2 days. But if I take it down to the 1 day, which is normally a pretty good indication, you can see that we are under downwards pressure, and we potentially could be coming down a little bit further to around 41k. But what I kind of want you to understand is that we're starting to, as the price comes down, obviously it's coming down because people don't want to buy it at its current price. It's too expensive. But you can see that in order to, and it's not always in, written in stone, but we have this area here below us around this sort of zone here. I think you can kind of see this sort of zone here, which is support. So we're coming into an area of support where if the price is going to, how do I put it, be supported and return back up to find higher prices, then this is where it's going to happen in this zone here. Of course, that does mean that if we break this zone and we drop below 41, with any significant time frame, i.e., a day or two, or even the 4 hour, then we could see further drops. So this is an area that was expected. Bitcoin is expected to come down to this price over this daily sort of time frame. So the good news is that we should see some support at this point, and it could be a time to start laddering in some buys if you're in that boat. Like I did recommend people to start looking at sells up at the 58,000, 58,000, which was at sort of this zone up here. So I did, sort of the warning was on the cards, sort of up here, which is also in confluence with this 0.618, which is a famous, very well used level. But we are, like I say, we're now coming down to the point where we could expect a reversal, which would be, when people are the most frightened is when people sell out. As I'm showing you here, we've got this very obvious sort of stair-stepping pattern, which is very, very common. And at some point, we will probably reverse back up to test these areas above us to see if the market wants to push the price forwards and onwards, upwards, or whether indeed from this point, we come back down for deeper corrections. But nothing tends to go down in a straight line. So that I'm putting it around about at the 38,000 before we again come back up to retest previous areas of support or resistance. Well, as you can see, we haven't actually, so we've come down to this point. We've come down to this point where we're sat at 43,000, and we should, we could experience a push back up to test, a previous point of resistance, which is around about the 45,000 before continuing back down. Or alternatively, we break the 45,000 and we come back to retest it, and then we start moving back up to this sort of 58 region, and that's really what we need to break, get above that to have onwards price action in a positive direction. So that's where we are. We're in between these sort of two zones. The price is really just ranging between these prices. So I just thought I'd give you a quick update on where I am. I've just put in my first buy at the 42.7, 42.8 mark. I think 42.9 I think I'm in at, and I'm looking to buy again, if it comes down further. But nothing's set in stone, and of course this is not financial advice, but this is where we are in the great scheme of things. And sometimes when you look at the small price action on these lower time frames, it's really it's very, very speculative. But on the larger time frames, when you zoom out, you can get a much better idea of what is happening. People want to buy Bitcoin, but they want to buy it at a price that seems that's value, that feels like value. And of course, this sort of area in between 39 and 43 is an area of value. You can see here that if I bring up the brush tool, this wick that we experienced back in 4th of December, it dropped right down to 41.2 on this particular exchange. This is a leveraged exchange, so there's normally more extreme sort of wicks. But yes, we popped down to 41.2 and was rejected straight back up, back into the 50s. And of course, we've come back down to retest this, and now we've broken it. Oh, well, not quite. We're not quite there yet. But as I said, this is an area where you should expect some resistance, or should I say some support, and the price could very well reverse from here back into the mid 40s, and then we can relook at it, look at the volume, because as you can see, the volume in the market has been slowly coming down, which means that there's no interest, or there's less interest. I won't say there's no interest, because in the great scheme of things, if I zoom out to the weekly, and I just reset this chart, you can see that on the weekly we're actually very bullish, believe it or not. We're probably not bearish until we actually break this this zone under 41 and continued downside into breaking this sort of next area of support, which would be somewhere between so we have got a lot of support below us, between 39 and 30, 31, 32. So there is a lot of support below us. We may come down to retest this this area, but I don't think it's going to be an elevator straight down. I think we will come back up to retest this area around the 46 mark before, or at that point the market will make a decision. So let's hope that is the case. And I just wanted to give you a 20,000 foot view of what's happening and how that may correlate with payments, etc. from CFX.